So let's just talk about a bit more information that might interest a few people. So without mentioning what it is, mentioning the name of what it is, what we've had over the last 2 years, because it's took a while for the last videos to be put up, I'm hoping that I can quickly do this one and get this one up as quick as possible. We all know what happened, and we all had our theories behind what happened with the last pandemic. On the 14th of this month, the final paperwork was stamped and sealed and signed with regards to the theory of where this has come from. Now, whether you're interested in this, turn off. If you are interested, carry on. I will say it as I've been told it the best of my ability to do so. But don't hold me against it. I'm not a chemist. In the next few weeks or days, it'll come out. You'll be able to read it for yourself. This is the second lab-created virus. The second. The first one has been confirmed as being a lab-created virus which caused a pandemic. It's all now been brought to light. Operation Frankenstein. Quite an apt name. If you're not familiar with Frankenstein, look for the film, watch the film, read the book. Elizabeth Shelley, I believe, 1818, I think she wrote the book, where she created a monster, Frankenstein's monster. This was all to do with a human being with animal body parts, genetics, cells or whatever placed into a human being that caused an uncontrollable, something that could not be controlled, hence the name Frankenstein. This is uncontrollable. This is the second lab creation that's potentially going to cause a pandemic. They've taken certain tissues and cells from human beings and placed them into an animal. Now, the second study, ACE2s were placed into mice. These have been tested on mice. Now, who's to say that the first tests, my theory, and this is what they're putting down now, at some point this has been placed into an animal. This is a man-made virus. Don't be disillusioned by it. It's not a natural virus. It's a man-made. That's now confirmed. And like I say, it's all going to come out. Has been placed into an animal. Who's to say it wasn't a bat? Who's to say it wasn't a bat, an airborne bat or whatever? We all know bats fly. It's been done in a controlled centre, and they've put the similar things and all the viruses into mice. But what they've done is they have created another virus. They've not done the studies to confirm it. They've actually now created an uncontrollable virus. Oh, Frankenstein. It's uncontrollable. This is uncontrollable. If this gets out, we are going to be in the shit. Right? The study was closed on the 14th of this month. 14th of this month. We're now on the 22nd, 23rd, 24th now. Coming up for 23rd. So it's contained at the moment, but the original one was contained and that got out. Now, if this is what they're saying, and it was originally came from a bat that flies, who's to say that, and again, this is my head, we're looking at the bigger picture. All these farmers are being told to cull the livestock. If this has been an airborne disease, what we initially had 2 years ago, and was in an animal, and has been, once it's in an animal and passed on to animals through flight, who's to say that they're not culling all these birds because they are containing Omicron or COVID, whatever it is, 19 inside them? right? Who's to say? I'm not saying it. It'll come out. I'm sure that they'll sit down and explain everything. It'll be all over the news soon. Now, this is uncontrollable. This is worse than what we've had. Now, if you're not from I've had it explained to me in the best way that they could explain it. Now, your airways that's dropping down to your lung, they've been congested with apparently some sort of protein's been clinging to the sides of them. Your lungs are not able to breathe and operate as well as they should do, i.e. carbon monoxide and putting the oxygen into your blood and everything. This has caused fluid in your lungs, which basically can cause you to drown, and it can cause what the pandemic that we had last time. Now, why have they been going around doing all these lung x-rays? Why have they been getting people in? The more vulnerable people, anybody over 55 who's smoked before. I never believed that. I never believed that. When they was in contact with me and I was speaking to them, they wanted to get me in an x-ray, my chest and everything. They knew I had lung problems. They knew I had a collapsed lung on my right. I discussed my health with them, and they couldn't wait to get me in. They couldn't wait to get me in. And not only could they not wait to get me in, they did ask me if they could, at a further date, and they wanted to use me for further studies, would I be up for that? And I said yes. Of course I'm going to say yes. If studying my lungs, if there's a problem with them, will help someone in the future, then yes. Was they doing this because they know more than what they're letting on? This has not gone away. This has not gone away. They've been studying this for months. Everything what this guy's been telling me is coming true. This is going to be coming out. Now, if this is uncontrollable, we're going to have a lockdown, a serious lockdown coming if this gets out. And who's to say it's not going to get out? The first one was a man-made. Why did they play around with that to create something that was uncontrollable? And how did that escape from that lab? It's all confirmed. And why have these people gone back into another lab to recreate this? Not only have they recreated it to prove that it was made that way, they've created one now that's going to be uncontrollable like Frankenstein. Hence why they're going to call it Frankenstein. They're not going to call it, the medical term is not going to be Frankenstein, but the study was headed Frankenstein after the book by Elizabeth Shelley in 1818. Now, I strongly believed that when the vaccine came out from the first time round, that it was a placebo, or whatever you call them. I didn't believe it was real. I still to this day do not believe that the first vaccine was real. I spoke to a lot of people that had that vaccine and got infected with it afterward. I've got to be mindful of how many times I say the word, or they'll shut the video down, but they got infected with it worse than what some of them had it. They had it, recovered from it, they had the first injection and got it again, and they got it worse. Why would they get it worse if they've had an injection to try and control it, to try and give you that immunity for it not to be able to fight against it inside you? But they got it worse. Why? Because it wasn't real. I don't believe it was real. And it wasn't long after they said, you've got to have a booster. And again, there was rushing people in to get another one. Why? What was the real urgency of you need to come and get your booster as quick as possible? Why was there such an urgency if the first one was so good? And this was a top-up. I don't believe it was real, the first one, maybe the second one. But this second one, this ACE2, is what they put into mice. That's a technical term of it. There is nothing. There is nothing to control it. There is nothing to, there will be no injection. There'll be nothing to control it. They've done studies on it. And if you're infected with it, there's nothing they can do. It's going to be like it was initially the first time round, and then as time went on, it got better, and they knew when they investigated it and found out more about it, was able to save life from it. This time it's going to be exactly the same. But they believe now that there's nothing they can do. It's an uncontrollable virus, Frankenstein. So there you go. There you go. Now, let's see if this escapes. Let's see. The first one did. And it was in the original lab where they said it was, in China, wherever it was. I can't remember the name of the actual place where it was. They are going to confirm that's where they believe it's come from. But they've put this down on paper that this is the second lab created. The second. Confirming that the first one was lab created. This would never have happened in nature. This is putting an animal to a human, basically. That's what I don't know all the technology in terms of it. People are going to think I'm talking bollocks. Wait till it comes out. It's a bit like having a horse with wings. This is how it's been explained to me. It's a bit like having a horse, a man with wings, or a man with a horse head, or it's created a human with an animal, and that's what they've done to create this first time round virus. They've gone in a lab to try and work out what's caused it and created another uncontrollable virus. Will it escape? Will they control it? Will they now professionally and, I don't know what the technical term is, destroy this lab where it is, destroy everything in that laboratory? Are they going to burn it down? Is it airborne? Are we all going to be suffering in months to come and weeks to come? Is that why it's spreading around the world now and killing, such as your livestock? Is this a knock-on effect of this? I believe it is. I strongly believe. I knew from the start. I had suspicions from the start it was man-made. I didn't believe it was a natural, nature-born thing. That's confirmed. I strongly believe that this has gone. I didn't believe that it was bird flu related or animal related till I found out what I'd been told. Now, if this is true and they have done what they've done, that's what they're saying. It's on paper. It's on official government documents in America now. Now, if this is true, then who's to say that this has not infected livestock? Who's to say it's not, bird flu and it is this, and they're putting it down as bird flu? We had mad cow disease. Where's that gone? We had the cull in the 60s through foot and mouth. Where's that gone? They've been controlled. Livestock was killed. Is this something to do with it? I strongly believe it is. If from the start I believed it was chemical warfare, I strongly believe that. I believe that, and I still believe that, and I'll always believe that. And that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to sway anybody. When all the facts come out at a later date, you will have your opinion on it. That's my opinion. They've investigated that. They've confirmed. It's been confirmed. It's a lab-created virus. They've looked into it, and they've created a stronger virus. Why? I don't get it, but there you go. Frankenstein. And it's all to do with mixing man and animal, and it's created this. And that is the facts of it. That's going to be announced. Everybody's going to say I'm fucking mad. Everybody's going to say I'm loopy. I did think Horus was going to come out next month. I do think there's going to be a lot more coming out next month. Maybe it will come out next month. Maybe it's been leaked early. Maybe they were going to announce it next month. This guy who's telling me shit knows his shit. That's all I'm going to say. He knows his shit. He's not a stupid man. He's been around a long time and he knows what's happening. A lot's more going off. There's a lot more top secret things that's being discussed and thrown around. And that's another reason why I think at the moment in time that Boris is better back in power. His understanding of what's been going off over the last few years. He's the only person that can sort this out, sort everything out. That's my opinion again. Do I want to see him there forever? No. Do I want a general election in April? Yes. But that's my opinion. I'm allowed my opinion. Please don't, do what you want to do, say what you want. But going back and looking at my posts, it was the beginning of October, the beginning of this month, that I said that Liz Truss wouldn't last. I didn't think she'd last this month. She hasn't. I do strongly believe that next week we'll see Boris back in power. I do think before Christmas, I don't think November will be bad. From what I've been told, it's going to be. There's no way out of it. Everything I've said will be right. Everything I've said is coming true. I said to my, about the steel costs and prices of this, and tin food will go up, and the tins are made thinner, and all the rest of it, and they are. If you've got an old tin of beans, squeeze it against your new one, the tin is thinner. It's just bullshit, but it's reality and it's truth. Now, we will see. We will see what's going to happen. If this gets out, we're fucked. And I've used that word before, and I had the police on the phone. We all know who did that, but we're fucked. We will have a serious lockdown. It's up to you. But in the next few days, weeks, this will be announced. It's got to be announced. God bless everybody.